The member from Elgin Middlesex.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, my question is to the Premier. Speaker, 3-year-old Madison Ambrose family has to raise over $140,000 to receive life-changing surgery out of the country. This government has created a rationed healthcare system through their scandals and mismanagement, and Madison and many other children are unable to access the healthcare they need. Instead, families are left on their own to rely on the generosity of others to raise the much-needed funds to travel out of country. Speaker, the Premier and Minister of Health already know the results of the recommendations from their expert panel regarding the surgery. Mr. Speaker, families cannot wait any longer on OHIP's dithering. Will the Premier direct her minister to fund Madison's surgery today?
So, Mr. Speaker, first of all, let me just say that I can imagine no more trying and tragic situation than a family that has an ill child looking for support, Mr. Speaker, and looking for procedures that will alleviate that child's suffering. There just is no worse situation I can imagine. The reality is that in Ontario, Mr. Speaker, we have a healthcare system that is based on evidence that looks at the scientific evidence behind procedures, Mr. Speaker. I don't know the specifics of the case of Madison, but I will certainly make sure that any information that the member gives me will be passed on to the Minister of Health. But in situations where there is not a surgery available here in Ontario and it is available elsewhere, if it's something that is supported by evidence, Mr. Speaker, then there is support for that surgery out of country. But, Mr. Speaker, the decisions that we make in Ontario have to be based on medical evidence.
Supplementary.
Speaker, back to the Premier. Premier, Speaker, this isn't an experimental surgery. This is actually a surgery that's covered by the ministry website. However, the ministry does not fund it in Ontario. The red tape they've created, the layers of management they have created in the healthcare system has made it an impossible nightmare for Madison's family to actually apply for the financial assistance the Premier is just referring to. Speaker, this surgery, again, is not experimental, and it is on approved surgery on the ministry's website. Speaker, her minister is unwilling to fund the surgery in Ontario. Mr. Speaker, will the Premier make a commitment today to fund the surgery when Madison goes to St. Louis?
Thank you.
So, Mr. Speaker, what I'd like to do is get the information from the member opposite. I will say, Mr. Speaker, that in my own constituency office, I can remember situations where there was a need to connect a family with the ministry, with the minister's office, to have a further conversation. I'm quite happy to do that for the member opposite, and I'd like to have the information. I just don't have enough information. It's interesting to me that it is something that is covered but is not being funded. I'm not sure how that is happening and what the questions or concerns are around this particular situation. I'll need more information. I'll certainly take it up with the Ministry of Health, and I appreciate the member opposite raising it, Mr. Speaker.